Justice here, coming to you live on Thursday, May 25th, 2023. It is Thrive Thursday, and I am Joe Justice, your home gym hustle hero. I've got my sound effects box here, so I've got all kinds of cool buttons I can press that can give me all kinds of neat sound effects. So be ready for that as we begin to move forward on the show. I want to remind you that if you're looking for a little bit of a push, a little bit of that extra challenge, you can join me every Monday and Friday. We are doing live Zoom workouts, joejustice.org/join, and you can become part of it, and I will help you push you forward. I am the home gym hustle hero, and my goal is to give you all of the tools that you need, from the information, the motivation, and the inspiration to achieve your goals in health and fitness without the need of a gym, just in your own home and with a little bit of minor equipment. So, as we talk about that, let's talk about what I've been talking about all week long. What have I been talking about? I have been talking about cognitive behavioral therapy and a behavioral approach to health and fitness, which, as I've mentioned in the past, is kind of my big umbrella kind of conceptual idea for health and fitness. You notice I do not spend lots of time saying, do this type of pull-up for your lats, do this type of pull-up for your, this type of push-up for your triceps and things like that. Yeah, that stuff does matter, and it certainly matters what you do as far as exercise and as far as, sculpting certain muscle groups and things like that. It does make a difference what you're doing, but really, with most people in the kind of world that we live in today, most people are not trying to be bodybuilders. Most people are trying to improve their general health and fitness, and the way to do that is through small behavioral changes, which I strongly believe in, and it's through these behavioral changes that you can achieve what you want. You can lose weight, you can feel great, you can increase your energy, you can increase your mood, and just overall achieve kind of a fundamental health, life balance that you're looking for. So really, fundamentally, what you're talking about when you're talking about these types of topics, when you're talking about behavioral therapy, behavioral approach to health and fitness, you're talking about habits. And habits are the most important thing that you can really harness in order to achieve really any goal. But when it comes to health and fitness, it's particularly paramount. So let's talk about habits and what they are. Most people don't understand habits, and they don't really understand exactly what they are and what they're dealing with. So habits aren't good and bad. So a lot of people think that there's good habits and there's bad habits. Bad habit, for example, is smoking cigarettes. So that's a bad habit. Good habits are, I don't know, what's an example? Most people kind of have like a negative approach to habits. They think that they only think of bad habits. And they think maybe a good habit is to, most people don't think of like eating well as a good habit, but they do think of junk food as a bad habit. And I'm kind of making my own point here with the approach to habits and having this kind of moral judgment on different types of habits. Habits are not really, they're not moral, they're not good, they're not bad. Habits are stasis. So basically, the way that your body interacts with the world, your body does things, and it interacts with the world. Things happen, either you get pleasure or you get pain, and your body basically says, well, this created pleasure, this created pain, and then, so I'm going to do some more of this, I'm going to do a little bit less of that, and then over time, your body basically says, well, listen, I haven't died yet, so I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing. So, and all of this is subconscious. All this is way below what you're thinking. Like, you're not thinking about this stuff. That's why to build up these habits, you have to make a conscious effort to kind of chip away at the habits that you don't like. So when we're talking about like bad habits, what most people refer to as bad habits, what you're talking about are habits that aren't congruent with your long-term goals. Now, they might make you feel good in the moment, and that's why your body kind of latches onto them, because they create this kind of stasis. Smoking is a great example. Nicotine does have certain physiological effects and mental effects. It's a stimulant. Smoking and getting into habits like that, it's also addictive. So your body likes doing it. and it creates stasis, and it doesn't kill you, at least not right away, right? So your body kind of gets all this positive stuff. Of course, your body can't read 40 years into the future. Your body just knows, hey, did this yesterday, it felt good. I've done this every day for the last 2 years, felt good. I'm just going to keep on doing it. And that's why those types of habits are so hard to break. And that's why they're so invasive, is because you get used to them and they just kind of build into your body. A really good example of this is, for example, you might come home every day. If every day you come home, you sit down in your blue easy chair and you turn on the TV and you start drinking a beer, well, that's going to make you feel good. You're going to like watching the TV and you're going to like drinking the beer. And in time, if you do that every day, then you're going to come home one day and let's say your fridge is going to be empty because you didn't go shopping the day before. You're going to sit down in that chair and you're going to have this intense craving for a beer. Like man, I've got to go get me a beer. You'll go to the store. You'll do anything that you have to do to go get that beer. That's because this habit's been built into you, and it's associating this chair with this activity that feels good. And again, now long term, is sitting and drinking a bunch of beers every night, is that going to be long term good for your health? No. But you didn't die yesterday, and you didn't die the day before that, so your body wants to maintain that. And that's really that kind of stasis, that kind of staying where it's at and not dying. That's really what your body's going for. Your body is not going for optimization. Your body is going for survival. That's what, the future didn't exist. The future doesn't exist for animals. So your body's kind of like your animal self. So when you think about it, it makes sense. It's trying to survive to the next day. It's not trying to optimize. It doesn't care what you're going to be like when you're 70. It can't think that far. That's what you do. So that's where the higher level thinking, the cognitive thinking, that's where all that comes from. That is the decision that you have to make. And then you make the decisions of, this isn't going to be good for me 6 years from now. This isn't going to be good for me 6 months from now. I'm going to gain a lot of weight if I drink all these beers every night. Or even worse, if you've already gotten into that habit, breaking that habit is going to be difficult because your body's like, well, I need this beer. Now, consciously, you don't need the beer when you sit down in that chair. You know that you're going to survive without the beer, but your body demands it because it's associated that habit with that chair, and now you need to break that habit. So understanding that will help you with breaking those habits, and the best way to break the habits is to disrupt them and to find the triggers that cause them. And a very simple way to do that is, if you take the easy chair with the beer example, is to literally get rid of that chair. If you literally get rid of that chair, or just don't sit in that chair when you come home, just get rid of it. Don't make it part of your routine. You'll actually find that it's actually easier to give up on that beer, because your body has become so associated with sit in the chair, drink a beer. Now you get rid of that and you can improve that quite a bit. And there's lots of other things, lots of other tricks. I'll talk some more about this tomorrow, and we can delve a little bit deeper into some of these techniques that you can use to harness the habits and to eliminate the habits. Because when you're talking about behavioral therapy, you're talking about modifying behaviors. That's what you're actually kind of digging into. You're digging into these habits. These habits are instantiated in your body. You have to change the habits, and the way that you change the habits is through small incremental changes that modify the underlying behavior. I hope you found this useful today. I hope that you can identify some small habits that you can improve on today, and that you have a wonderful day today on this Thrive Thursday. You take care, and I will see you again tomorrow.